The Buffalo Bills 2026 free agency is in full effect. They've traded, they've re-signed, they've released, and they've not signed a bunch of players. Right now, we're going to go over all of that, give some grades on our thoughts so far. We're going to go over our big board of Bills needs and start heading our conversation into the NFL draft. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pro Football Hall of Famer and former Buffalo Bill Andre Reed. You're listening to Nate and the Fellas on Circle the Wagons podcast. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills.
And else we do it run here. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo fan base podcast. I'm your host, Nate, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on our free agency, the first week of free agency recap for the Buffalo Bills in the 2026 season. I'm joined by my co-host and good friend, John, my man. How you feeling about the Buffalo Bills roster as it stands right now, just 1 week removed from the beginning of free agency?
I'm slowly trying to convince myself that we're going to be okay.
I think that's a good approach. That's what this season's going to be like. That it could end up being amazing. It could be the same as last year. It could be a little worse. You never know, right? So why go in thinking it's going to be awful, right? I've seen people from all sides of this, to be honest. Here, I'll share my tweet. I just posted a poll this week on like, hey, where's everyone feeling on Twitter? Where do you guys think? Do you like this? Let's see. Do you like what's happened so far? Are you a fan of it? Thoughts on free agency thus far? Love it, hate it, or is it mid? 27% of the people love it, 4% of the people hate it, and 68% of the people say it's mid, which isn't a bad thing. Like, we're still almost as good as, maybe we were last year. It's just some people are a little bit more optimistic than pessimistic, but I'm kind of in the same boat as a lot of people. I don't think it's awful by any means. I don't think it's spectacular. I think there were some good moves, but I don't overall look at this and be like, this is a different roster, man. Like, this is a team you don't want to face next season. I still think it's a good roster. They didn't take a huge step back or a huge step forward, but I think they got slightly better in a few areas. So I think there's reason to be optimistic as a Bills fan. And I think there's reason to be like, it wasn't great, but it's, not awful. So I'm kind of in the majority there. I think I go from like mid to like slightly above that,
Yeah. I know we're going to go through the whole thing, and I want to talk through it with you. And then I'm going to have a question for you at the end.
Okay.
Do
you want to talk through it with me right now, or just at the very end when we go through everyone?
Well, the particular question, I think we have to go through the episode first.
Okay. Good. I look forward to this particular question, and I wonder if I'm going to answer it between now and then. We'll see.
You won't, but we'll it's a very particular question, but I want to go through all the moves first and see where you're at, and yeah.
So I was thinking about going timeline-wise, at least for the players that the Bills signed and traded for, and then released. So let's start off with the releases first, as far as players that were under contract that got released. We have safety Taylor Rapp, we have cornerback Dane Jackson, and wide receiver Curtis Samuel. Those are the three big releases, and not super upset about any of those. Not really worth giving a grade on because it's just the releases, but I mean, Taylor Rapp was probably the most notable name on that list, and he had his moments, but by and large, we were never really thinking he was the complete answer at safety. So, better luck, with the next team. But I wasn't upset about those releases. You?
No, I think those were all expected, and I don't think any one of the three have been signed by another team yet. Lots of time for them still, but no, nothing unexpected there.
Dane Jackson, he is what he is. Like you can't be mad at it. You know exactly what he is. And then Curtis Samuel, it's, that everyone saw this coming. He saved $8 million by releasing him, or $5 million, or whatever it was. It was was a considerable amount of money for a guy who was never on the field basically the last 2 seasons. So we were hoping that we could get something out of him. And I think we might have gotten something dramatically better in our first trade for the NFL season, free agency wise, with wide receiver DJ Moore from the Bears. The Bills traded for him. They traded a 5th round pick in a 2nd round pick in DJ Moore and a 5th round pick from the Bears. So I like this trade, John. Love the player. I don't think we were going to get someone that's like top 10, top 15 wide receiver necessarily. But I mentioned with Curtis Samuel, like they were hoping like between Curtis Samuel and Joshua Palmer, they were going to get something similar to what DJ Moore ended up actually producing at a high level, which those guys have never done ever, at least even remotely consistently like Moore was. So now all of a sudden the wide receiver room is dramatically better just from that trade. So your thoughts on that move by Bean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big contract, but he's definitely by far number 1 receiver now. I don't like giving up a 2nd round pick. I think the 3rd was the highest I was thinking. I know they got a 5th back, so it seems like a little much, but you got to take a swing when, like, what are their other options? The biggest free agency guy was probably
was it Alec Pierce?
Yeah, but he got re-signed, right?
Oh yeah, he got re-signed. Yeah, but for like a ton of money, more than what DJ Moore is making, I think.
Yeah, like Wanda Robinson might have been like the biggest free agent, or was he a free agent? Yeah, there weren't too many.
No,
and then your other trade options are like AJ Brown, maybe Brian Thomas. Although it didn't seem like Jackson was willing to deal him. We got to take a swing for it. They still need to draft somebody on top of that because they got more on Shakir, say, and then after that, there's nobody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, this is a roster where your top 3 wide receivers are now DJ Moore. You have Joshua Palmer and Khalil Shakir. Like those are your top 3 guys, which, you know, we love Shakir. You know, we're really excited about DJ Moore. Like we need a 3rd guy that can compete with Palmer and Keon Coleman and everyone else, right? So I absolutely agree with you. They need to draft at least 1 wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah, it's tough. And Shavers, that injury at the end of the year, that's really tough because he was very good.
That guy. He could have been that guy.
And I mean, they would still need depth beyond that anyway, but with him hurt, now it's even worse. And
yeah,
they have so much money this year invested in receiver. Like I saw something that they're like the top 4 or 5 in paying receivers this year or last year, something like that. And they're one of the worst receiver units in the league.
Yeah, when you look at that number, that was mind-boggling, right? Because I mean, you still have some dead money tied up in Curtis Samuel, you know, the Joshua Palmer signing, which was pretty much a flop last year, but it's a 3-year deal. So he's still on the roster. Khalil Shakir, who's actually, you know, the only one so far that's worth his money, but you have that, and then you have like the 13th highest paid wide receiver in DJ Moore. Like all that together ends up being like a lot of money. And then you look at like the Jamar Chase and T Higgins group, and they're just like barely above that. And you're like, what are we paying for? You know, I agree. So like that, I'm with you. I wasn't in love at all with giving up a 2nd round pick. It feels like, I mean, we gave up a 2nd round pick, or we got a 2nd round pick when we traded Diggs. And I feel like Diggs is a lot more accomplished than DJ Moore is. I would have liked to have seen maybe a 3rd or a 4th. And I think, John, the reason why it ticks us off a little bit more than normal is because when the report first came out, it was a mid-round pick, they said. So you're like, oh, 3rd or 4th, right? Like, that's fine. I'll give that a
3rd, 4th, or 5th.
Yeah, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, exactly. And then you're like, 2nd round pick is not a mid-round pick at all. So I don't know why. Eden Rappaport's been...
But even then, he's a great player, but it just seems a bit much. So it's probably a compromise. They're probably looking to give away a 3rd, and they're like, okay, well, they compromised and did like a 2nd and did the 5th swap. So I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but they also, because of all the holes on defense, they need as many picks as they can get. And I'm sure they're going to do some stuff in the draft. Maybe that 1st round pick, they're going to trade down and get a couple 2nd round picks out of it. Like they did the Keon Coleman year, maybe not draft a player like Keon Coleman, but
we'll see. Yeah.
I'm so upset. I'm so upset about that Pagula conference, by the way. Like, how can you throw him under the bus? Like, okay, fine, he hasn't been doing well, but like, he's on your team still. Like, why are you like this guy in his rookie contract still? Like, you gotta like, I don't know.
What gets me about that, let's just for 1 second because you brought it up. Nobody asked specifically about Keon Coleman at the press conference, I'm pretty sure, right? Like they were just asking about like picking the players, and Pagula's like, if I could step in. Sean is the one that drafted Keon Coleman. I don't think, or were they asking about, they might have even been asking about Keon Coleman or players in general, like that need. Like,
They're definitely talking about the receiver core, but I don't remember. I have to double check if they were actually asking about Keon or not. I can't remember.
I can't remember if that was specifically. I loved Mina Kimes' tweet about that, where it showed that guy from I Think You Should Leave. Have you ever seen that show on Netflix? I Think You Should Leave.
I don't think so.
So it's this sketch comedy. For those that know it, I don't need to describe it, but for those that haven't seen it, like it's one of those sketch comedies where it's either freaking hilarious where you're dying laughing, or it's like it's okay. It's like it's kind of like SNL, I guess. Whereas like Key and Peele, I thought like hit on most of them. These guys, like it's pretty good, but like the ones that hit just feel like they're like cringy. They're like there's a lot of things. So in this one specific episode, it was a trial was going on where they were talking about insider trading, and the person on the stand was like, can you read your text messages to your coworker? So you're thinking they're going to talk about insider trading within the company, which they are. But then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, did you see Dylan's stupid freaking hat the other day? He's such a loser. And Dylan is sitting in the trial, like in the crowd, like, why? And he's wearing this stupid hat with like, it's just a really dumb hat. He's just like looking around like, what the like all of a sudden this trial's supposed to be about insider trading. And within like 10 like different parts of the episode, they talk about of that sketch, they talk about his dumb hat. He looks like such a loser. Why would he ever leave the house in that? So that reminded me of Mina Kimes pointed out perfectly. It was just like, that's Keon Coleman just like wanting to watch this press conference about, what's going to happen with the future of the Buffalo Bills. All of a sudden, like, yeah, nobody wanted Keon Coleman that's here. It's like, what? How did that happen?
Well, the receivers coach wanted him. Was that what came out of it?
What originally happened? Yeah. I think Pagula said that Sean wanted him. And then Brandon
wasn't really Sean, though. It was like one of the positional coaches.
It was
originally that brought it up.
I can't remember if it was the positional coaches, because I remember seeing the behind the scenes Bills, draft content where they said, oh, good, he ran like a slow speed. That'll be great for us drafting him or something like that.
I do remember that. Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember the positional coach, but you're right. It could have been a quote or another thing I did.
Or maybe they deflected after the fact and tried to blame it on somebody else too. Who knows?
I do remember Bean specifically saying in the press conference, like, listen, I signed off on all these picks. So he did take like responsibility. He's like, no, like Sean wasn't, saying that you have to draft this. And I felt like I had to draft a player I did not want to. That's not how this works, right? So he kind of walked it back a little bit.
And you know what? Bean's the ultimate decision maker on those picks anyway. So like, even if he's being influenced by whoever, he's making the picks.
Yeah, exactly. So the hits and the misses, kind of still go back to him in a good way or a bad way. Like, so the Josh Allen pick, like, totally gets all the credit, and he deserves all the credit for that pick, for sure. But there haven't been a ton of, think about it, like, not to go off on a tangent here, but how many elite picks, like Josh Allen is future Hall of Fame. So nothing's going to be like Josh Allen necessarily, but how many picks has Brandon Bean done in like 8 drafts where you're like, that one was almost as good as Josh Allen?
0 Hall of Famers outside of Josh Allen. There's been really good players like James Cook. They've developed some linebackers really nicely.
They don't have a linebacker on their team that's as good as James Cook right now, though.
No,
they didn't even last year, right?
No, but like Milano and Bernard and things, they've had good linebackers.
Prime Milano though was a pick by McDermott. So like,
that's right. Oh, that's right. That's right. He was, yeah.
Bernard was a Bean pick.
Yeah. So like to win a Super Bowl, you need more than one elite player.
right?
And that's all. And they've only had one elite player.
Like you said, they've had really good players, but no one elite. Like you're right. I mean, the way you put it is precise. They haven't had even close to an elite player on either side of the ball. I would say even close, like, right? Like there's haven't been one where you're just like, dude, that guy takes over games. You've had good players make plays in advantageous moments, but they don't have a Myles Garrett. They don't have a Tyreek Hill. They don't have a guy that just like blows the other team away at any given moment. Like if you don't account for him, he will destroy your team. Like they don't have that besides Josh Allen, which is good that they have Josh Allen, but they haven't had anyone close to him since it. Like Tremaine Edmonds, like that same draft. Like Tremaine Edmonds isn't a fraction. I mean, I haven't missed him. Like so many first round picks, so many second round picks. Like I think about the best Brandon Bean picks, like Taron Johnson, which they released, which we're gonna get to. You know, I think about him. I think about Spencer Brown ended up being a good pick. He was not a great pick at first, and then he ended up becoming a really good pick. James Cook, like you mentioned, I mean, I think those are the top three right there currently on the roster. James Cook, Spencer Brown, and Deion Dawkins wasn't a pick of Bean, so I wouldn't include him, but he's obviously one of the better players on the Bills roster. Osiris Torrance is up there, but he's definitely not elite. He's definitely not, he's good. I'd say pretty damn good. I wouldn't say he's elite.
He's good to great. Yeah.
Notice that those were like second round picks, James Cook, Osiris Torrance, you know, like these good players, and the Bills don't have a second round pick, but
hopefully Cole Bishop too, right? Like I like what I've seen from Cole. I think he might be good.
Same here.
I know he had a little bit injury in his rookie year and stuff, but last year I think he stepped up a little bit. So we'll see between him and what we'll get to also Gardner-Johnson.
Yes,
that might be a good pairing.
Yes, let's go right into that one, John, instead of going like timeline wise. I love the DJ Moore pick. Like you said, I didn't love the compensation for it, but overall still a good move by the Bills. You think that too. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the safety who played with the Bears last year.
Yeah, and he's played for lots of teams.
Only 28 years old, by the way. At first I was like, oh, he's got to be like 31, right? He's only 28, which is great. I like that signing a lot because we finally have a ball hawking safety back there to go that can also play either side. Honestly, he could play Cole Bishop's role as well. But I love the fact that they have a guy that brings some nastiness and brings some winning pedigree to the Bills safety duo, which could hopefully between Bishop and Gardner-Johnson be the best safety duo they've had since Hyde and Boyer.
Yeah, that's the first indication of them doing something different since them cutting McDermott loose, because I feel like that wouldn't be a McDermott pick. But 1 year and it's an up to $6 million. It's a good value, and he's a good player.
He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles 2 years ago. He went to another one with them 4 years before.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. They still need more safety depth. I know they got Geno Stone earlier this week, and they still got Jordan Hancock, and but they still need more defensive backs in general, corner included. I know they get Dee Alford, but maybe as a Taron Johnson replacement. But after Bedford and Harrison, they don't got a whole lot. So still need more defensive backs. They're switching to a 3-4. So linebackers is a concern. Nose tackles a concern.
Okay, so when we're done going through these picks, let's also hit the big board of Bills needs, because we had wide receiver at the top last, and I think we're probably going to move that down from our first tier need to another tier below that. So CJ Gardner-Johnson, I great. I like it. Good. What do you think? Good, bad, or mid?
I have to rate it. I can say good.
Yeah, good.
I like it.
So let's go into another one that I like is good. They re-signed center Connor McGovern to a 4-year deal. I was worried that they might not be able to sign either McGovern or Edwards on the offensive line. And instead of losing both of them, they're able to keep McGovern, which if you have a choice, you'd like to keep your center over your guard. Obviously, even though David Edwards had a great season last season, I'm going to give this a good grade for this one. Stinks to lose Edwards. He got paid tremendously by the Saints. He actually got a larger contract than Connor McGovern did as a center. So I'm okay with the Saints overpaying for him, but glad. And in my head, I'm like, oh, the Bills could probably keep Edwards on a cheaper deal than McGovern. But no, that didn't end up being the case. But I'm glad that the Bills keep their center in town for 4 years. He's earned it. And then, especially when you see that the Tyler Linderbaum from the Ravens got basically almost double the contract that Connor McGovern got. So what a great deal. I'm definitely going to give this a good grade. What are your thoughts on the McGovern resigning?
Great, good. I didn't think you were going to get both McGovern and David Edwards. So if I had to pick one, I would pick McGovern. Not that Edwards wasn't great. Edwards is great, and he got a nice contract with the Saints, and I'm happy for him. There's nowhere they're going to get both of them, though, so I'm happy they got one of the two.
I was listening to a podcast with Eric Wood and Joe Marino, and this is, as much as we criticize Brandon Beane for some of the things that he does, we just mentioned drafting, right? Joe mentioned that one of his favorite things that Brandon Beane does is his contract extensions for existing players. Like, he gets them on good deals, not necessarily a hometown discount, but cheaper than the highest paid center in the league, right? Like, so it's like top 10, top 8 instead of, because remember when the Bills were in the drought, they couldn't get a player like Connor McGovern unless they paid him top money, like most amount of money guaranteed or whatever, longest best contract in the NFL to get a high level free agent. And he's able to, I give Beane a ton of credit for this. Like I mentioned, Tyler Linderbaum getting paid almost twice as much, just right after McGovern got his contract. It's like, yeah, he struck while the iron is hot, because if Tyler Linderbaum got the $27 million a year deal and McGovern's at $15 million or $14 million, whatever it ended up being, all of a sudden his agent's like, I bet you we can get $17 million or $18 million. So credit to Beane for that. I think it's a good pick, just like you do. All right. What about the trade? This was initially stated by the team as a release, but the Bills ended up trading Taron Johnson and a 2026 7th round pick to the Raiders for a 6th round pick. Where do you grade that trade, the loss of the player, maybe even talk about who they're replacing him with, as good, bad, or mid?
This is tough. I want to say bad, but it's kind of mid. So, I mean, they're going to cut him, but they're getting something for him. So that's good. No, I guess it's good. No, I don't know. I still like Taron.
So you're not even gaining a pick, right?
I like Taron Johnson better than Dee Alford, though. So.
Do you, though, John? Because Taron Johnson did not have a good season last year.
He has lost a step, but Dee Alford, I'm like 3 years up to $21 million. That's sounds like a lot of money for a guy that can't tackle.
Maybe this scheme doesn't require their slot corners to tackle, John. Have you ever thought of that?
I don't know. I think the whole thing's a wash. Like, Johnson's lost a step. They were going to cut him, and then all of a sudden they're trading him for something.
Yeah, that was.
They brought in this other guy who's whatever. They still need more corners. I think it's just a wash.
I think it's mid. And that's kind of where you were leaning. I think it's mid. It's better than nothing, but it's not. It doesn't move the needle. It's like, oh, they've upgraded significantly the slot corner. I think time will tell. It could end up being much worse. But I think it fits Jim Leonard's scheme, so they went with it, which is fine. We'll see. But I'm mid there. It's okay. It doesn't move the needle for me either way, honestly. It's if they picked up a pick or gotten a couple of picks or something, like I'd be like, hey, that's not bad. I'll take a couple of day 3 picks or whatever. Like, that's pretty good for a guy that you were going to release. So I like that part of it. But again, yeah, it's just moving up the draft, basically. So let's talk about free agent signing. We talked about CJ Gardner-Johnson. We like that one. What about Bradley Chubb? Edge defender, outside linebacker, Bradley Chubb. 8.5 sacks last year, which is more than any Bills player had last year. I'm going to ask you a quiz. I'm going to give you some trivia on this for a second, but thoughts on the Bills signing Bradley Chubb?
So the thing
bad or mid?
Quick. The thing that concerns me is we did the Von Miller, and then we did the Joey Bosa. Now we're doing the Bradley Chubb.
We're doing you sounds like a dance, like a 60s dance.
We're
doing the Von Miller.
We're doing the same thing again. And they all have had injury histories, and they all have had either an injury or something that's not quite living up to expectations. And I just feel like it's like I get it. They're trying to do something, and they have all these first round draft picks too. Like in addition to these free agents, like that over the years, or first and second round. They got Rousseau. He looks okay, but like lots of players over the years. They've been trying, but nothing's worked, and it just feels like another one of these. Like, okay, we're gonna try this again.
We're going to try to get a guy who's been injured a lot and hope that this is the season that he's
helps us to put over the top. I don't know. Like I can see it like on paper. It's like, okay, they get Rousseau, Chubb. If Michael Hoyt comes back healthy, like Solomon's got some good stuff maybe. And they like, I don't know. It's mid for me. This is mid.
I would. So I struggle with this one because at first I was like mid, absolutely mid. Like you said, all the reasons you hit it on the head. We've done this before. We've taken chances on guys who were elite, coming out of the draft who may have performed, but then injury issues. You could actually argue that Bradley Chubb's done a lot less in his career than Joey Bosa or Von Miller in his career. Like that, I don't think anyone's agrees with that, but he's also younger. He's going to be 29 when the season starts. So, but he's had at least 3 ACL tears that I've seen, one in the 2 in the NFL, in the pros. He was healthy all of last year, though, had 8.5 sacks.
He did play all 17 games last year.
17 games. John, do you know which year was the last year that the Bills had a player that had at least 8.5 sacks on the roster? What year? And then I'm going to ask you which player at that time, once you guess the year, because once I give you the year, it'll help you. But
I wonder if I should try to guess the player first.
Oh, you can do that.
Last time a Bills player had 8.5 sacks in a season
or more. Yep.
It was like Kyle Williams, wasn't it?
No, that'd be sick though, but it's not. It's not. I'll give you a hint. This player's no longer on the team.
Well, I figured that much. So I went that far back. So it's sooner than that?
Sooner than Kyle Williams, yes. More recent. I'm about to put it. John Robert is in the comments, and he wants to.
Did Von Miller like that first? When did he get hurt? When did he get hurt again? No, it wasn't.
Not Von Miller.
I know he's playing well until he got hurt.
He was probably on track for, I don't know what it would have ended up being, 12 sacks, I think, but he didn't get to 8.5. I just saw in the comments, John Robert has it, but I'm not going to play it for you because I don't want to give it away.
I have the comments off screen so I can fit all my other spreadsheets on the windows. So I can't see it. So I have no idea. I don't know. I need another hint then.
Let's say he was here for only 1 season.
Jeez. Marcellus Wiley.
No, it's way more recent than Marcellus Wiley.
Oh yeah, he was before Kyle Williams. Anyway.
So think in the last 5 years.
A 1-year guy.
1 year.
In the last 5 years. That's stupid.
Mercenary pass rusher.
Yeah, it feels so dumb. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to give you a hint. He played on the other side of Von Miller his first season.
On the other side of Von Miller?
Before he got injured.
Like on offense or like?
No, defense. On the other side of the defensive line, pass rushing.
Von Miller's on defensive. On the Broncos.
No, on the Bills. No, on the Bills.
Oh.
Von Miller came over to the Bills. There was another guy who was really good on the other side. 1-year guy. Who injured Aaron Rodgers in that first game?
No. I know this. I should know this. What was his name?
It's hard, right?
I know it. I know I should know it. Now you have to tell me because I don't know. I know it. Leonard Floyd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After I post John Roberts' comment, yeah, easily, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more research to find out because it didn't feel like 10.5 sacks he had. But
so he had 10.5.
Now here's another trivia question. There was another player on the Buffalo Bills that's not named Von Miller that had over 8.5 sacks that season and has never sniffed it since then. Is still on the Bills. Hasn't sniffed it since then. Hasn't been close to 9.5, but he had 9.5 that same season.
Was this 5 years ago?
2023. This was 2023. This happened.
Oh, okay. 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago.
See if anyone in the comments can get this one.
Wait, he's still on the roster?
He's still on the roster.
And it was how many?
9.5 sacks.
Ed Oliver.
Yes, correct. You got it. Was it the where I said he hasn't sniffed it since then, or what made you think of it? Because I thought you were gonna go Rousseau.
I was just looking at the current roster. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see.
Dude, Ed Oliver 2023 was a different player, and then ever since then it's been mid. Like of course
he
he
was
injured all of last season, but
right. Yeah, he was really good at the beginning of this year, but yeah,
dude, one thing I remember, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but Ed Oliver was like amazing that first game. Got injured either in practice or from that game, and then we didn't see him till the very end of the season. We're like, oh, we got him back for the playoffs, right? Like this first or second round, and then he was played for like a series and was done the rest of the game. Do you remember that? For like
Yeah.
a different injury completely. It didn't even have to do with his bicep. You're just like, oh,
yeah. And we're like banking on Michael Hoyt being healthy, like because he played really well when he came back from that suspension.
no, he was amazing. Like he was still on PEDs. He was playing that well. It was like, so Bradley Chubb, you give that a mid grade or good or mid? Okay. So this is where I'm going to say with this. A lot of this is the kind of free agent signing from Brandon Beane where it's just like a hope. It's a hope signing. Like, let's hope he plays better than he ever has. Hope that he stays healthy, right? You're hoping that he can do that. If he plays as well as he did last year, it'll be like having another Greg Rousseau almost, like on the other side, which isn't a bad thing. But it fits the scheme a lot better than the Bills. This specific signing fits the free agent pass rushing linebacker better than anyone they currently have on the roster. There's nobody that Greg Rousseau, he's a 6'7", 270-pound pass rusher. Like that's not a typical 3-4 outside linebacker pass rusher, right? Like when they move to a 4-person front, Greg Rousseau is going to be much better suited.
I don't know. I feel like we say this every year with Rousseau. It's like, oh, with Von Miller on the other side, Rousseau's going to be Joey Bosa. Oh, Rousseau's going to really get eat this year. Now people are saying, oh, we got Chubb. Gregory Rousseau is going to be amazing. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, but so that's my point is like, I'm not banking on Rousseau having a better year because of it, but I think Bradley Chubb can be a better version of what Greg Rousseau would have been in the same position. So I think that Bradley Chubb is an upgrade. If we didn't sign Bradley Chubb, you would have been hoping for a draft pick or Greg Rousseau to play better at that role, which I don't think he will.
Oh yeah, it's better than everything's better than nothing. But
yeah, that's where. So if you're gonna change schemes, like this guy's for that. Like this guy's the best. But like again, hoping that he stays healthy, hoping that he's his best season ever. I give it mid. I'm saying it's a mid signing. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's. What about safety Geno Stone? I'm going to give that one a mid. I like it better, obviously, than what they had at depth last year in DeMar Hamlin. So I like that for him. But again, a guy that hopefully shouldn't see the field. So I don't know if he's that much of an upgrade over Cam Lewis. I'll give it a mid grade. I could be argued toward good, but mid.
Is he an upgrade over Jordan Hancock? It's kind of
then second year Jordan Hancock. I don't know about that.
So it's a wait and see kind of thing.
It's a wait and see. Hancock didn't look great last year, but I think his football instincts are there, and I'm excited to see what he has this season. But I don't know. Time will tell. He hasn't proven enough yet. Let's see. Who have I missed? I think I caught everyone so far. What about any of the releases? Anyone else?
Kyle Allen.
Oh, Kyle Allen. How could I forget that? Kyle Allen. I'm actually going to say this. I'm either mid or bad with that one. I saw that, he's making, what is it, 2-year, $4.4 million deal. But he technically is getting like a $500,000 raise from where he was last season with the Panthers or whatever. And people are saying, what did he do to deserve that? It's like, it's the Josh Allen buddy, the fee for being his buddy. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like Shane Buechele, but it doesn't matter. If Josh goes down, it's all for effed anyway, so it doesn't matter who it is.
Absolutely. Whether it was Mitch or Kyle Allen. I mean, I think I like Mitch better, but even Mitch wasn't.
Yeah. I liked Mitch better too, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, Patrick Mahomes isn't gonna be your backup.
It's either you give me a guy like a Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew or no one, right? Like I either want a guy that is a legit backup that if Josh Allen goes down, like they might be able to put together a few wins, or give me no one, or just a guy who's Josh Allen's buddy. You're basically signing him for his bro, right? So. I say mid. I don't care. It doesn't move the needle for me one way or the other. Mid for John? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. That's the
Whatever.
definition of mid, John. It's whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever.
Did I miss anyone, or did we catch those?
No, that's everything. We talked about the punter, right? Or no?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we got the punter.
But we didn't give it a grade. What did you give that one? I give that as it's a mid. It's not an upgrade. I like Wisnowski. I don't not like him, but
I'm gonna give it a good because I think he's better than punters they've had in recent history. So I'm gonna give it a good.
Who was the punter that they had at the beginning of the season that they lost due to an injury? Do you remember? I liked him better, I thought, than Mitch Wishnowski. He's a guy that looked like Bill Burr. He was like a redhead from the Texans. And then he got like run into on the first game, and then it was the end of his season. I liked him better than Wishnowski. But I mean, Wishnowski is pretty good. I don't mind him. I'm gonna stick with mid, but I'm glad that you feel better about it than me. So I like that. I like that you're trying to argue it for it better. That makes me feel better about the signing in general. I mean, there were some guys that were, let's talk about the guys that signed elsewhere. If you like that or if that upsets you. We mentioned David Edwards. David Edwards signed with the Saints, signed for a bigger deal than Connor McGovern. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Good for him. We love him. Best of luck, obviously, in the Saints, but I'm okay not paying that price tag for him.
Yep. But you can't, yeah.
I'm okay. I'd rather keep Connor McGovern and Alec Anderson than David Edwards and then hope that Cedric Van Granger or they can draft a center that's better than Connor McGovern. So I like this. I think that was the better.
And they still got Van Granger, and they tendered Mark too. So they have all these other guys. Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine. Yeah, exactly. Which they could look at Vandermark at guard possibly, or or Van Granger at guard. Like you never know. They have Alec Anderson for now penciled in there, and that could change. You never know. I didn't mind this one so much either. This didn't bother me too. Cam Lewis, Bill's former safety slot corner backup, went to the Bears. Good for him. UB product. Liked him being here. He dropped off last year when we really could have used him because Taron Johnson was having injury issues and just his play dropped off. Really could have used Cam Lewis stepping up. He didn't last year, but doesn't mean his career here was bad. I'm not going to miss him. I think he'll be okay there. Just I'm okay with him being released or him signing elsewhere. The Bills not re-signing him. Agree?
I'm glad he's somewhere. I think I'll miss him, but you're right.
This one I would argue hurts the most of all the players that got signed elsewhere. And it's not just because of the position he plays, but mostly because of where he went to. And that's fullback Reggie Gilliam signing with the Patriots on a 3-year deal. Reggie Gilliam arguably had the best year of his career last season, blocking for James Cook. You could argue that he was one of the reasons why James Cook had the rushing title because of the work Reggie Gilliam did, making holes for James Cook to run straight through. James Cook had one of the best yards before contact numbers in the NFL last season from running backs. And I say Reggie Gilliam is a good portion of that. Sucks, again, that he went to the Patriots. I think that's the biggest loss this season of players that went elsewhere so far. John, do you agree with that one?
I'm going to say, looking over the roster here, I'll say second biggest loss. I think David Edwards would still be the biggest loss. Yeah, I'll say second biggest loss.
Yeah, definitely second biggest loss when you compare it to David Edwards. But in my head, I was thinking we were never going to re-sign David Edwards, whereas there was a potential that we could have afforded. I mean, he signed a 3-year, $9 million deal. It's not like fullbacks are getting paid $10 million a year, So there was a potential, I think, where they could have found money, and he played a lot of special teams as well.
Not every team uses a fullback. How old is Gilliam?
Oh, geez, great question. I'd say he's probably, I'd guess,
7. We're not his first team, right? Am I wrong in that?
He's 28 years old. So what else did he play? He played for the Bills in 2020. He joined the Bills, and he's only played for Buffalo from age 2020 or 2023 on.
I didn't realize he was
undrafted.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah, we never drafted him. So, yeah, just came right to us as a tight end, undrafted. So, yeah, 28 years old. So, not over the hill. That was a second. And then we mentioned Mitch Trubisky leaving for a 1-year, $7 million deal to the Titans. I'm perfectly fine not paying him $7 million. I mean, it was going to happen. There's always going to be a team that makes the Mitch Trubisky signing. It's like when you have like 2 or 3 guys vying for the job and you're just hoping one steps up, the cream rises. And any other thoughts on free agency so far, John, before we get into the we finish up with the big board of Bills needs?
No, I mean, there's still some guys that are still free agents, mostly on defense. They haven't signed anywhere. But I don't know if we're going to sign. I don't know if you're going to resign Epinesa. There's a bunch of guys. Daquan Jones, Ogunjobi.
I'm not sure if Epinesa still even fits this scheme.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's the issue, right? Matt Milano, Shaq Thompson are out there. I don't know if it's worth any of those.
So you mentioned Shaq Thompson. I feel like I was thinking like I'd take him back on a 1-year deal for sure. And, that helps a big need. Where do you put so first tier needs? When we talked last time, we did a podcast episode together. We had wide receiver and safety at the top as first tier needs. I'd say we could easily put wide receiver. I mean, we'll always take a wide receiver. If they took one in the first round, I would not be upset, depending on the guy. But I think we can move wide receiver down to more of a second tier need. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think my tier 1 needs are linebacker and nose tackle at this point, going to a 3-4. I like Deanne Walker, but I don't know if he's going to be that like every down nose tackle kind of guy. And then obviously if you're going to start like 4 linebackers, I mean, I know that can be in flux. Like you can safeties and stuff can play those positions and this and that, but Bernard and Dorian Williams, Jordan Dreesen, and then what?
A lot of unknowns.
Yeah, so linebacker is probably my number 1, but on the same tier, I'm going to put nose tackle too.
John, on the discussion of nose tackle, because I do agree with you there. I think linebacker at this moment is the highest need, just because we don't know if Terrell Bernard really fits this area. Dorian Williams, I think, could be a good contributor for this, but I mean, technically you have Bradley Chubb going to be one of the linebacker roles. So the thought is that Greg Rousseau is going to be potentially the other linebacker role or 3-4 defensive end. We'll see where they post up. But let me show you this stat that Eric Turner from Cover One shared on how many snaps do true nose tackles even play as a zero technique, head up over center. Here are the total snaps and run plays, or total snaps and run snaps. Total snaps of all true zero technique, head over center nose tackles. The one that had the most in the NFL last year was 180 snaps. So in a 17-game season, you're talking 10 snaps a game, 11 snaps a game for a true zero technique nose tackle. The position role just aren't what they used to be, guys. And when I saw that specific stat, it really put it in perspective.
Who's playing that position the rest of the game?
So
that's the question.
So I think that when I see that, I think that it could be potentially anyone at the nose tackle, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be a specific zero technique guy that comes off the field. And so you mentioned Deion Walker.
Like TJ Sanders, Dwayne Carter, Zion Logue, who's doing this?
Well, originally I was thinking, Zion Logue I like at that position specifically, but he's a lot more unproven. I think right now it's Deion Walker as the nose tackle. Deion Walker is the guy that fits into that role as a true zero technique guy. Just based on size, no one has the size that he does. They just don't.
He looks great. Let me tell you, he's very athletic for his size, but you're putting a lot of eggs in your basket.
It's not his natural role. He doesn't play that role. He never did on a consistent basis in college. He was that, one gapping, penetrate through and take down the running back or the quarterback. That wasn't his role to be this nose tackle role. So he has the size. He doesn't have necessarily the strengths to do that portion of it. But if you're looking at a guy that can do it, 10 snaps a game and he's out of position, whereas normally he'll line up in a one technique or a 3 technique defensive tackle, like all of a sudden you're talking that's more his realm, right? So I still think it's a need. Don't get me wrong. I just, based on the position itself, it doesn't sound like it's as important as I originally thought. So what do you think? Do you walk away from that stat saying like we still need it? It's still the biggest need. Or do you say it's a need, but it's just not as important in the roster as I thought it was?
I think it's still a pretty big need. I think linebacker's still number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But Like, let's say you didn't have Deanne Walker on your roster. Like, what would be your game plan?
Oh, geez. I mean, you're hoping to win Carter or that was this, John. This is what we discussed after the draft last season. Was like, man, Brandon Beane says that those true nose tackle, those one technique defensive tackles that are run stuffing guys, like those guys can get later in the draft, even though they never draft them. All they do is draft, penetrating defensive tackles, right? Like that's all they do. So they don't have a guy like that on the roster because they never draft
Exactly.
them. So I agree with you. It's a need, but
Walker was kind of drafted as like, oh, maybe this will be a cool thing. Like it was just like by happenstance that he's on our roster right now.
yeah, and I think they could still draft a guy later in the draft because that's what Brandon Beane always says. You can get those guys later in the draft, and I agree. You could get a true nose tackle probably in the 4th or 5th round, and a startable guy for 10 snaps. 10 snaps.
Yeah, I'm not saying they need to like trade up for a nose tackle in the 1st round or anything. I'm just saying that is my areas of concern in the roster. My top 2 are linebacker and nose tackle if they're going for that 3-4 look.
I would agree with that. So right now, I guess 1st tier needs I have as linebacker, nose tackle. Can you think of anything else that would come close to that? Like wide receiver, I think we're in a better, but that's more as of now. I have as a 2nd tier need. Safety as of a 2nd tier need. I might even drop that down to 3rd tier for now because of everything that we just mentioned. Actually, I think I will drop safety down. I think this is the best safety depth and starters that we've had in a while. So I'm going to drop that down to 3rd tier instead of 2nd tier. What do you think about that? Even maybe 4th tier.
So my tier 2 is corner, wide receiver, and safety.
I think safety can move off that one, man.
I don't like it. I don't like the depth. I don't like the depth. Bishop and Johnson and Gardner-Johnson are like everything below that. I am nervous, and the same thing with corner. We have Benford and Harrison. After that, don't like any of it. I'm gonna go corner and the receiver, Moore and Shakir. And that's it.
So I'm gonna.
I would say corner, receiver, and safety, in that order: corner, then receiver, then safety.
Okay, I agree with corner being up there. I actually have that as a higher need than safety. So like I think that's where we're going to agree to disagree. I don't have safety. I think personally that this is the best starting duo we've had. And then as far as depth, this is better than last year. Now that's kind of, we wanted a safety last year. Remember, we wanted them to draft one and they didn't. So they're better than last year, but that doesn't still mean that they're good. But I think between Geno Stone and Jordan Hancock's, we have proven depth. And we also have a guy that could be an up-and-comer that could maybe eventually be the starter in 2027 in Jordan Hancock. So I like our starters in both depth positions for the first time. Would I be upset if they drafted a safety on day 3 early? Absolutely not, especially if it's the right guy.
So I have safety as a tier 2, but like safety is also my number 5. So I said linebacker, then nose tackle, then corner, then receiver, then safety.
Okay.
So it's still my 5th position.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I got that. So what do you think about pass rusher / edge / defensive end, like that sort of role?
Yep.
Is that 3rd tier now, or is that still 2nd tier?
I got that in 3rd tier, just behind. Yeah.
Is that because you think that we're set there?
It's because I'm hoping with the Chubb signing and Hoyt being healthy and Solomon progressing and Dave Rousseau. So those 4 guys there. Yeah, I don't have much hope for Dane Jackson. I know he got injured, but he wasn't looking good before the injury.
Now he's out of position, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the guys they drafted last season are out of position because they drafted 6 out of 9 players were defense, and all the defensive ends and defensive tackles are kind of. So I guess I would put that in the same tier: edge, outside linebacker, cornerback. What do you think about this guard? Would you put guard in that 2nd tier, or would that be a 3rd tier because you like Alec Anderson? Like, I think, what if they don't sign Osiris Torrance in this offseason? This is his last season under contract. Ideally, they would re-sign him, but what if they don't? What if they don't like Alec Anderson? Like, those 2 guys, they will both be gone next year unless they're re-signed. And I don't want to give up anything for Josh Allen to protect Josh Allen. I would put guard. I think guard is almost even an upgrade over Alec Anderson potentially this season.
Yeah, so I had that in my last and 4th tier was offensive line depth and fullback because I wasn't sure if they were going to want a fullback, depending on their offensive scheme. But I did see that one report that you sent me. They were looking at fullbacks. But yeah, offensive line. It's on my radar, but in my last tier for needs. I like Alec Anderson. They got like Tylen Grable. They tendered Vandermark. Travis Clayton's on the roster. Chase Lunt, Nick Broker. They've been developing guys on the roster. I'm not super concerned, and I'm sure they're going to do the same thing this year. There's going to be like they're going to draft somebody anyway. There's going to be some undrafted free agents. I'm not super worried about that position, but it is on my list of needs towards the end.
So you'd put fullback over guard at this point.
If they really want a fullback, I would put it above guard. Yes.
What do you have above guard for needs? 'Cause you said that was your fourth tier. What do you have in your third tier?
Oh, that was edge.
Okay. Edge is on your third tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tier one linebacker, no second. So tier two corner, wide receiver, safety, and then 3 edge, and then 4th was offensive line. And then I had fullback question mark because I wasn't sure what they were going to do on offense. But if they want fullback, that could be tier 3 or sooner than that, depending on how they value that. But
so I think so. We're in agreement on almost all this stuff. Linebacker, nose tackle is the top one. The next one we have cornerback, wide receiver, safety, and then is that it you said, or you have edge, outside linebacker is the next tier, right?
yeah. So tier 3 had edge. So like it depends how they do linebacker versus edge and all that kind of stuff. And then tier 4 was more offensive line depth / blocking fullback and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, where the Bills pick at the end of round 1, I could see a potentially good linebacker being there, but I think nose tackle, unless they're like an all-around pretty good defensive tackle, we're probably not taking one in first round. But that's, I think, where we should start, unless like they sign DJ Reader tomorrow or something. I think we should start our draft conversation with our big board of Bills needs: is linebacker, nose tackle, corner, wide receiver, safety. Like I'm in for all that. So quick, when you talk about safety, are you thinking ball hawking safety? Are you thinking Cole Bishop more in the box, but also has some ball skills in the intermediate and shorter areas? Where do you say safety wise?
Well, I'd say it'd be a best player available kind of safety because they have the Bishop and Johnson, but you want backups to those guys or to compete with those guys in case one of those 2 guys don't work out. Like again, Gardner-Johnson's only a 1-year deal, so I don't know.
I think if I had a choice, I'd go ball hawking safety, free safety sort of player, because I think that's what Gardner-Johnson
that makes
is
sense
right now. And then you want to replace him eventually, right? If he doesn't
Yeah.
stick around, if we don't re-sign him for another season.
Yeah.
That's if I had a preference. Obviously, I think Jordan Hancock's more of the Cole Bishop type safety. So I think he slides more into a good backup for Cole Bishop than he will for a free safety sort of. Gardner-Johnson can do both. He's really good at the line, stopping the run. Like he's very physical. He actually, you know what he reminds me of in a good way is Jordan Poyer. Like he has the ability to, and Jordan Poyer wasn't really a good ball hawking safety, but he had the ability if he was in the right place. Like he had good instincts, but he wasn't like the Jarris Bird sort of guy where you had him just sit, or Micah Hyde rather, just back there. Like Jordan Poyer could do both though. He could sit back there. They could interchange Poyer and Hyde, but like Poyer could he could be a thumper if you needed him to, by the line. That's what Gardner-Johnson is too. He can do both. Like he's kind of like, I'm kind of surprised he's not signed already, and I'm not sure why. He doesn't have a huge injury history or anything, so I'm not curious, but I'm excited for that. So, okay, cool. So you and I are going to talk. We're going to do some draft research now going into the draft. The next time we talk, we'll go over any more free agent signings or trades or anything like that, and we'll go that. So I think, overall, we're in a pretty good spot where we like, what the Bills have shown so far. So, yeah. And then thank you guys for the comments. I didn't get to all of them. I apologize. John and I were on a roll, but John Robert came in. He said Gardner-Johnson has played nickel cornerback too, which is a great point. And I like that, John. It kind of goes into hey, let's say Dee Alford is struggling, right? Did we give a grade on that? I think we said mid, right? Like we went mid with that one, but
I'd say bad on that one.
Bad. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. It's too much money for what he is. For the Gardner-Johnson, like if he's playing nickel, then who's playing the safety position?
That's a great point.
That's
I think if Gardner-Johnson's playing safety, but like, could he play nickel? Yeah, yes, he could, right? So
right,
like,
but he could, but somebody else would have to step up to play safety, and I don't see that. I don't necessarily see somebody doing that right now.
No, maybe that puts safety in the bigger need. Like you said, that would definitely be a bigger need to do that. So I like it. All right, John, any final thoughts before we sign this one off?
No.
Cool, me either. So thank you guys all for chiming in, being a part of this, getting in on this, and liking, commenting, subscribing to our YouTube channel or our podcast in the audio format. Anywhere you are, if you could do us a favor, leave a 5-star review. We'd obviously appreciate that. And yeah, if you share this on social media and you tag us, we will retweet it. We'll share it all as well on Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, wherever you find us. We're at CTW Pod, like X Circling the Wagons podcast. And I appreciate your support this year, this season, over the years. Man, we love talking football and love getting your input and your thoughts as the season goes on. So if there are any prospects that you like in linebacker, nose tackle, any of the positions we named as the first and second tier, cornerback, wide receiver, safety, let us know. And we'll start talking about those players. Then we'll end it with our mock drafts as we normally do right before the draft. And we'll go from there. So signing off for John.
So I just want to say one more thing. So I hope so. I get that they're going to implement a new defensive scheme, and in some ways it makes sense because they kind of need to move on from a lot of players and
retool
anyway. But I just hate when like you have to like force players to fit your scheme as opposed to the other way around. So I'm a little bit worried about that in addition to having to retool. I mean, a multi-year thing.
Well, it might be one of those things too, where if Jim Leonard is progressive enough, he'll do less of what he truly wants to do just based on, I mean, that's what Joe Brady has always said. He's like, I play the scheme based on the players I have, not based on what I want to do. So I imagine Jim Leonard is the same way. I can't remember through his press conference if he specifically said that, but I think we're in good shape. I think he's probably going to run maybe some base 3-4, but then knowing the players that he has on the roster, he's not going to try to fit a square peg in a round hole. At least that's a hope, right? So there may be a transition year or two where he plays less of what he wants to because we don't have the bodies for that. So yeah, honestly, if Bean hits on this draft, then we'll be fine. But that's some big ifs. Signing off for me, Nate. Go Bills. Be good. Do good. God bless. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Go Sabres.
Thank you for listening to the Circling the Wagons podcast. Download and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast service. Email us at ctwpod@gmail.com. That's Charlie Tango Whiskey Pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CTWPod. And most importantly, go Bills!
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, mate. Well, listen, the whole show is called Circling the Wagons. Say no more. I love it.